John just took his pants off.
So small. So impossibly small.
What is it screaming at?
Put it back! Put it back!
I clipped it, but we're keeping it.
It's worth it.
Why the fuck did you choose this?
Yeah, this is so...
like, the Flat Earth is now Flat Earth coming 2020.
Is that gunshots in there, too? What the fuck are you doing, my mans?
Well, I guess the title is Bump in the Night, I guess.
Oh,
I mean,
good.
It is slightly topical for recording, not for publishing date. I think it might come out around Christmas.
Did we not learn that we should stop dating things by when we record them and just keep it, reasonable?
No.
Well, haven't we also established that Halloween and Christmas are the same holidays?
Yeah, I get scared both times.
If you're Jack Skellington, I suppose, but...
If you're jacking off skeletons?
I have been, yes. That's
the Christmas spirit.
It's a boner squared.
It's gonna be a
Speaking
white
of, like,
Christmas.
ambient atmospheric noise, I want Shane to award me a medal for listening to an album that I'm sure that he loves and would never expected me to listen to and enjoy. Pink Floyd's Metal.
Well done. And that's Meddle.
Yeah.
Speaking of which...
I was talking... Oh, go ahead.
Someone's finally found their way into your home.
Uncle Dutch.
You may not survive.
I'm so scared.
And this is the Disinformed podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm John.
And I'm Michael.
So you were listening to metal, eh?
Yeah.
You're a metalhead.
We got into the car, someone who was driving us around in Denver got into his car, and the moment he turned the ignition key, before we were in there, had obviously been blaring his music, so he gave an apology, and it was something, it ended up being Pink, it ended up being Dark Side.
Okay.
And I made some joke. He's like, "Oh, sorry, I was rocking out on my way here." I was like, "That's cool, man. We all love Phil Collins." And he was like, "Fuck you, it's Pink Floyd." And we had this conversation where I was like, "Hey, if we're gonna be in the car, like, I don't listen to Pink Floyd. Like, I haven't gotten into it yet. I quote you a lot, Shane, where I'm like, to quote my friend Shane, I'm just not ready for it yet." And then I made a sarcastic comment. If we're going to be in the car together for 40 minutes and all you want to do is listen to fucking Pink Floyd, then I want deep cuts only. And then he threw on that album, and by the ride was the whole album. Downloaded it immediately. I really, really liked that album.
So I had a whole admission at one point where I explained to everybody, like, I had a year solid where all I listened to was Pink Floyd and Cream. So it was like my psychedelic 365. And it really influenced the way I write and hear music. And I think relative to the sound effects like you normally have for your own effects on the guitar, like they're very ambient, very spacey. This is one of the reasons I like Phaser so much, is it has that weird sort of like 60s acid vibe. So it's phenomenal. I love Pink Floyd.
Michael, have you listened to any
Michael,
of
Pink Floyd is a band that was founded in 1968 by Syd Barrett. And
I read... What was it? I read their album that was based off of Sid after he left.
Well, there are several. Dark Side of the Moon is, as well as The Wall.
It has his name in it, or something like that. Oh, jeez, because it was an interesting story. Actually, I read more about Sid.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, I know.
Wish You Were Here is also about Sid as well. So it's like they
Oh,
realized...
Shine On You Crazy Diamond.
Okay, yeah,
that's what
that is from Wish You Were Here.
Yeah.
So.
Are every single record from Pink Floyd concepts?
They started picking that up with Dark Side, but I mean, they really were very experimental in the Syd Barrett phase. So like their songs were Careful With That Axe, Eugene, like, and Arnold Lane. So they were very pop, actually. And then they started moving towards, like, in the Gilmore eras when Roger Waters started getting more abstract and writing real random stuff.
Yeah, because I think what it impressed me, like, when I was looking at where metal is as far as in the discography, is that they put out, what I think Dark Side is 7 or 8 records into their history, which I didn't think about as someone ignorant to their discography and their history, where I had always assumed, like like most bands, most traditional bands now, like their most respected work, it's either their first album or maybe like their third. And you don't think about the fact that, and in the 8 album cycle, like those all happened within 5 to 6 years. Like they were putting out multiple records per year because that was the age where you were just
and also
pushing shit out.
The other thing about that time frame, and we're getting really deep cuts into this, but I love it. They only could fit the amount of material you get on one side of a record, so you only had like 18 tracks total. Like you'd have 4 songs on each side, maybe, or maybe you'd get up to 10. So like Black Sabbath records, they put a ton out, but there's only like 8 songs on them. Yeah. So you were more limited, but also you're freed because you can just, we have this amount of songs, we'll pick them out, and then it's not like a 20-track record like we're doing these days. So,
and then my last thought on it, just since I brought it up, and we'll bookend it.
Okay.
Because I believe that album came out in 78 or 79, somewhere in that realm. The fact that you go back that far now, relatively, and that album ends with a 23-minute song tickled me to no end, because I am a huge, huge fan of slow burn and long plays. And I think the only other song that comes close to being that obnoxiously long and still interesting is the ending track on Mars Volta's Francis the Mute.
Okay.
And if you haven't checked it out, might be the time to do so. It's a little masturbatory for you, Shane. I don't know where you sit on music.
I've heard of it. Music.
See, music is something that is
you're Jerry and Rick and Morty, and you get in the car. It's human
music. I did listen to a YouTube video of I think it was 8 minutes of human music, and it was just him just sitting there yeah. Okay. It was actually pretty interesting. No, I listen to more I call it electronic lounge, but it's more... did you ever watch Mad Men?
That's one of the shows, I think Shane's mentioned it multiple times too. I have not jumped on that, and not a similar vein, but another one that's recommended that I haven't watched that I really need to is Boardwalk Empire.
Well, it has nothing to do with the actual show. The theme song... The artist that wrote the theme song, his name is RJD2. That's the kind of jive that I'll listen to, that I'll put on him, and then another guy, he's kind of more of a YouTuber named Ronald Jenkins.
You know what's funny? We've already discussed this on the podcast previously, since I am the chronicler of our stuff. So yes, we are the Ouroboros right now. We're eating our own tail.
The Vince Gilligan.
We're self-cannibalizing ourselves by going back. But yes, he's mentioned this previously. That's the type of music
that's kind of like my jam. But I mean, I'll when I future me edits it, remember, listen to it. Dumb shit.
Oh, that's
tag for myself.
No, everything stays.
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna.
We cut that out.
No,
except ourselves.
I'll cuss future self out all the time. He's a dumb shit.
Well,
doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah. No, he doesn't do anything for anyone.
Well, now that we've had our little tirade that I started, not even accidentally, I just didn't know that we would talk.
Hey, we're still not done, because I want to talk over you for another 5 seconds.
Okay.
Can I the thing I had in mind as I was coming over here, and it's apropos of the conversation we had in the last episode. I am so ready for self-driving cars.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Because the traffic trying to get over here, I love this rat race mentality that we suddenly, that game of inches that you play where you are going to get there faster than the person next to you.
And fuck how many people you have to cut off, and how many times you have to worm your way in and not signal, and yeah.
Decency and consideration and, care and concern are things that I tend to prize. So the fact that everyone just openly tries to kill each other, and I have a loved one who just got in a pretty severe car accident this week. I'm so ready to get us to that glorious future where self-driving cars are the only thing on the road, and this human competitive, I'm railing against everybody else on the planet, where we can just hang back and Tesla me. I want to look at the internet, touch myself inappropriately, and
for
get somewhere.
Sake, N64 on the center console as they have,
or even just let me play Woody
maybe
Blocks.
Just have Becky come in for a guest appearance, and she can present on self-driving cars, because she will not shut up once she starts.
Okay.
Sure.
But let's get pessimistic for a second too, because this traffic, it's only going to get worse. I don't remember the statistic, but it's astounding the amount of people per month and per year that are moving to the valley.
Yeah.
It's what happens for us because being a neighbor to California, they're all kind of migrating over. Southern California.
Well, the cost of living's better here.
Yeah.
But in order to, the joys of the Phoenix dynamic for those who are not here is everyone has to work downtown or in Tempe. And then if you want affordable housing, you have to live on the outskirts of the valley proper, which is like an hour and a half drive for most people. So the single person driver in Arizona, particularly Phoenix, is just astronomical numbers. And everyone's trying to get out of or into the same places at the same time, and we are at like California level traffic right now with a giant city. So,
and I'd say probably within the next 10 years, it's going to almost be identical. They're doing a lot of road work and they're doing a lot of projects to try and help that on the freeways, but it's futile, you know. Yeah. But anyway, speaking of futile things, what are you presenting?
Well, I was actually going to say something like, well, all these conversations actually make more sense than what I'm going to be talking about. So it's like kind of a good transition, you know. We're now looking at the future. We're talking about the future driving cars. I'm going to look at the past and cavemen. Okay, that was a little bad.
Who's a caveman?
the Robotham.
Yes. So, all right, cool. Yeah, talking about Robotham. This is part 2, Attack of the Proofs, because I'm just gonna cop that stuff and steal it for no reason.
Hey, we just talked about Star Wars for 40 minutes on the last episode. We might as well get further into it.
True. So I'm gonna be talking about one of his disciples, I guess. Not really disciple, but one of his.
There's always 2.
Fuck.
Strong with the flat this one is.
I wouldn't really call him his apprentice or anything like that. But see, I have seen Star Wars.
Soon we will make ourselves known to those that believe in globes.
Okay, just because you mentioned this is when it's going to come out, let's all hope that this last Star Wars in this saga doesn't completely shit the bed.
Hey, as long as there are no tits being milked in it, I'll probably be fucking orgasmic.
I would assume the opposite.
I was orgasmic for another reason about the tits being milked. It was just, you know.
Anyway, Michael, sorry.
That's the only milk I drink. Okay, so a little bit of background for the William Carpenter, who wrote the 100 Proofs the Earth is Not a Globe.
Oh.
He was born in England.
It's 80 proof, by the way, in case you were curious.
40.
I'll take it. Born in England and eventually moved to Baltimore, Maryland. He was a xenobiologist.
Ooh.
And after moving to Baltimore, taught classes in shorthand. So it's a symbolic writing method that increases speed and brevity of writing. So I guess if you're taking really quick notes or something like that. It's not really as big of a deal now when you can type.
Correct.
But there's probably a more modified version of typing that like people can do for court cases and shit. He published 2 books on the subject and became known as Professor Carpenter. Okay. According to his obituary.
Oh, yes. We're all having strokes
Who are
today.
you calling a bitch?
That was me. Remember, I was his bitch from anyway.
You were, yes.
According to that, he was a vegetarian, a believer in the power of mesmerism, that's animal magnetism.
You might need to throw a woohoo on that.
Animal magnetism, yes.
Animal Thank you. I do appreciate when you do that not too far away, so that I don't have to pour through other old files to find it.
I meant me calling that subject.
I guess I
So
I
it's
will
no
know that
longer,
again.
by the way, it's no longer my lane, it's our lane. Thank you. We're all sharing the same lane.
I just started playing Call of Duty for the first time in 10 years, so I've been called everything.
We're in a self-driving car right now, and it's in the lane that hates everything. So
Anyway, woohoos aside, please.
All right.
Tell us about the
I said,
Carpenters.
mesmerism, animal magnetism, and a spiritualist writing pamphlets on each. He thought that the eating of meat was responsible for many of the ills that humanity is heir to.
See, he's not.
What about cock?
I mean, beating your meat. Meat
Cock
is
meat.
cock. No, I guess.
We can leave the cock talk, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, listen, Chick-fil-A is delicious.
It's because their chicken is it's filled with so much hate. The hate makes it taste so good.
It tastes great.
He wrote a bunch of more stuff, like the pamphlet I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
Under the pen name, the author of the most scientific and credible sensibility.
That's not a pen name. That's a fucking, like, self-aggrandizing,
Yeah, right?
like, blowjob title.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, the pen name is, Jack Swanson or Robert Greer. That makes sense. Not
I guess that would be
the greatest pancake maker of all time and the man who treated your mother to the greatest orgasm she's ever had.
I wouldn't mind signing that.
It doesn't fit well on a dust jacket. I'm just going to throw that out there.
that's
I
fair.
dare you to print it.
just make, like, from the desk of...
The book is the title, basically. If I'm the author, then yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be a little bit of a departure from a typical a typical episode.
Teach me, Daddy.
Yeah. Oh, I'll teach you.
I'm going to learn you today.
I'm going to teach you good. I'll tell you what.
Did you just turn into a Boardwalk Empire character?
He was like cross-Irish, cross-New Jerseyite.
See that? I've never said that I can do accents, and I can't.
I love it when you try, though. It's fun.
Oh yeah, hilarity.
It's Maxnomic.
So I'm gonna learn you guys 3 things that you can anyone can pick up. Very easy physics lessons.
Cool.
Okay.
I just want to warn you that I understand nothing.
I promise at the end you'll be like, that makes sense.
You haven't been around John very long, have you?
I have to teach students in Physics 101 where, like, I could literally be like, I can pick up a pencil or something and drop it and be like, that's gravity. And they'll be like,
no, that's a pen.
I think you don't understand. John learned to have sex by basically just walking around thrusting his hips as constantly, and he just ran into different things that either accepted or rejected his penis. And finally he was instructed, like, no, you can't do that to the dog anymore, but this girl over here may be willing.
so machine learning.
Colin has more sense than I do.
Okay,
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Semicolon.
The first thing is called frame of reference.
Okay.
Okay, I
I have a couple of those for my paintings, yes.
Yeah. It's literally what you see from your point of view. Right? So
got it.
A good way to think about it is, say you're driving in a car, right?
So that's a in a car.
You get one. You're driving a car and Shane is standing on the sidewalk, right?
So it's a cunt on the sidewalk.
I said you get one.
By the way, fuck you.
So from your frame of reference, he is moving.
And the cunt.
Right? Everyone's a cunt from your point of view.
Yes.
Right? But, like, you see him coming towards you and then going away.
Because I am in the moving vehicle, it appears that he's moving past me.
Yes.
From my perspective.
Even though he's static.
Exactly.
Even though you
reality.
were just standing still, you have passed me because I have passed. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you understand more than Carpenter does. So many things. Like, literally, I had a section that is, Carper doesn't know perspective. And literally that, understanding that, you're already leagues ahead of this guy.
I was going to say, an easier way to explain POV to John is it's your favorite way to look up porn on Pornhub.
Oh.
POV video. The camera acts as the eyes of the person receiving the fellatio.
Timothy Lone Cactus does enjoy a POV.
He does. He does.
Okay. And then Newton's first law and simplified.
Put a fig in everything.
No, that's a zeroth. That's like a fundamental lemma,
Good.
I think. Is the math term. Whatever.
Well, it's Newtonian.
Yes. It's relative. No, it's not.
As opposed to Oldtonian.
Plutonian.
I'll stop. Go. So Newton's first law.
Okay. An object will travel at a constant speed. At rest is a constant speed. Its speed is 0. It's v. An object will travel at a constant speed if nothing else interferes with it.
So
You
an
were about
object
to
at
say-
rest will stay at rest until acted upon by another force. An object in motion will stay in motion until acted upon by another object.
Right.
Yes. So,
Like, if I don't hit the child in the middle of the street, I will continue going 60 in my development.
Indeed. And if you don't hit the child when it's being an asshole, it will continue to be an asshole.
So what you're saying is that there's no other option.
I'm saying that's why you think everyone's a cunt.
oh, I'm gonna have so much fun. I think I might just censor one and just keep all the others in. I don't care anymore.
Well, in which case, the terrorists win.
Okay. And
Also, cunt, cuntity, cunt, cunt, cunt.
just
You're Ric Flair. Well done.
Song 2 from Blur.
Then the last thing is mainly a little bit of a perspective lesson for gravity. When you think that gravity pulls you...
John Mayer.
We are so fucking disrespectful right now. I'm so sorry.
What is the musical that... Isn't it Wicked that has gravity in it? I don't fucking know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, the death of every witch should be respected. Don't just say it because one died. Moving on. Gravity, forces.
I'm just gonna say it. When we say gravity pulls you down, we don't mean there's an absolute downward direction. We mean gravity pulls you down is shorthand for Earth's gravity exerts a force on you that pulls you towards the center of the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to keep in mind, because that's actually something that my students don't understand. They think gravity means pulls down.
Well, it's 'cause
so gravity is the force that is pulling you towards it, essentially.
Yes, yeah, that's the whole thing with gravity is that they will attract. Mm-hmm. So, like, I almost made some sort of, like, beer goggles thing after...
Or John's bumper and a small child.
Yeah, there you go. That's a better one.
Yes.
They're just attracted to each other.
Her name's Abra. She should have seen it coming.
All right, cool. So, honestly, that's it. So, do those make sense to you?
It all makes sense.
Yes.
Fine, you're correct and I'm teachable.
That's
Don't let Becky find out.
Nope. That's
she doesn't listen to the podcast. We're safe.
Good. I won't rat you out. Okay.
Sad,
so game time. What we're gonna do is I'm going to read not the original wording of the proofs.
Thank God.
Because no, I'm going to read a modified or modernized reading of them. I'll include a link to the actual website that I use to find them out, so you guys can read the ye old English garbage and try and make sense of it. I will just say I spent way too many hours deciphering these, and I feel like I should get like a degree in Old English, 1800s English.
So what you're saying is many Robothans died to bring us this information.
Yes. Okay, so, and also, I'm going to say real quick why I want to do it from this perspective. Mm-hmm. So one of the major issues that occurs in these sort of pseudoscience debates, and one that we kind of saw a lot in the last episode with Robotham, who was a writer instead of a scientist, is the idea of the expert versus the layperson, right? The master versus the apprentice for Sith reference, or Goliath versus David, etc., right? Instead of myself telling everyone how he is an idiot and wrong and all that stuff, I'd rather have you guys at least try to point out why he's wrong. Mm-hmm. Because then that seems a little bit more credible when it's like, it's even playing field. That you guys aren't using a degree to try and be like, well, you're an idiot because my physics 350 class said so, right? It's more like, I can reason this out because I understand basic intuition.
If you use logic, obviously you can disprove these things.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Sweet. Alright, so let's see here. That is a little more complicated. I have a list of them. Okay, we'll start with this one, okay? So, we have evidence proving that the sun moves daily around the Earth in circles, with the center being the northern region, which contains the northern star. Okay? Mm-hmm. But since the theory of the Earth being a globe is necessarily connected with the Earth's motion around the sun in a yearly orbit, the theory falls flat when we bring forth evidence that the sun moves around the Earth, which proves the Earth is not a globe.
Huh?
So it's a post hoc thing, essentially.
Huh?
So it's a post hoc fallacy of saying that if we have to believe, essentially we can only prove that the sun moves around the Earth if we believe that the Earth is a globe and moves in that function. And since we don't believe that, it's not true.
Yes. You used some fancy philosophical talk there, which I figured you would know that.
Yes, go figure.
Translation. There's evidence that the sun moves, not the Earth, and since the theory that the Earth as a globe is connected to the Earth rotating around the sun, it means both aren't true.
The argument is essentially saying, I believe that Jesus is divine, and
Therefore,
so anyone who brings me something that contradicts that is wrong, because I believe that he's divine. And the evidence that would normally support that, I don't really require. My belief is the thing that dictates the facts here.
So, this is a matter of frame of reference, actually. I do like what you came at, but then I realized that when I said that,
I come in everything.
You came too quickly and on the wrong face.
Guilty.
But it's an idea frame of reference, and I came up with a good way to describe it.
Ooh, give it.
I'm spinning in a circle, and there's someone standing next to me. Okay? From my frame of reference, he's the one that's spinning, since I see him moving, because I see him spinning around me. Not just him, but the whole world is rotating around me.
At an unbelievably fast rate.
Yes, since I'm seeing it move around me. Therefore, the world revolves around me. QED, bitch. QED is a fancy way of saying, wait, isn't it Latin or something? It's pretty much saying the proof is done. But that's like the idea. Is that, oh yeah, we can see the sun rotating around the Earth, and since the Earth needs to rotate around the sun and it to be a globe, obviously that's not the case. Done. Right? But just because you see the Earth rotate, or the sun rotating, doesn't actually mean that the sun rotates. Okay. So it's funny that you mentioned Jesus and being divine. This one isn't really one that you guys can tear apart, but I just had to keep it because it was so good.
Ooh.
Human beings require a level surface to live on, and since the omniscient creator, omniscient and creator being capitalized, understands our requirements, it follows that, being an all-wise creator, he has met said requirements.
Okay. So they're saying we wouldn't be able to thrive in a situation where we were not on a level surface, and since God is perfect, he would know this, and subsequently would create a flat surface for us to exist on. Otherwise, we'd die.
And he actually ended it by saying it was a theological argument.
Okay.
And so I responded with checkmate atheists.
Yes.
That's actually a whole section where it's just checkmate atheists.
The God principle I love, yes. It just, you can... It's basically the wiping everything off the board in Risk. I'm just saying, I dropped a nuclear weapon on all of us and we die. Your strategy is illogical.
Here's another one that I think is kind of in the similar vein. Some astronomer, because if I were to say the guy's name, it wouldn't matter. Nobody.
Fucking Copernicus.
Argued Jupiter, a planet, rotates. So why don't we? It's because we're not a planet. When someone puts words into our mouth concerning the supposed planetary nature of the Earth, it's not hard to prove that the Earth is not a globe. What? Earth ain't a globe. Checkmate, atheists, because it's not a planet.
You're ignorant.
It's like, so, when you look out in the observable universe, and everything that we have been able to study is spherical. It's an orb. Why would you not extrapolate that would have to be what we're on?
Because that's not, we're not up there, we're down here.
And we were created by an omniscient creator who knows that we can only live on a flat surface, so congratulations, we're a fucking ant farm.
An alien ant farm.
He's a kid with an ant farm.
Kevin!
God's an absentee landlord!
Alright, let's see.
You pulled back from the microphone, and that's what I appreciate about you.
I pull back when I need to.
Okay.
But not out.
Alright, here's another good one that you guys actually might be able to catch, and I'll read it a little slower.
I like the condescension in your voice there.
I see the
you
smoke
might
coming
be
out
able
of
to
John's ears.
understand
Well,
this.
because most of the ones that I've read out have been like actual fallacies. Not like
fallacies. Oh, I see your fallacies.
Okay, so some guy said that since the sun seems to rise in the east and set in the west, the Earth really spins in the opposite direction from west to east. Now, this is the same as saying, because a man seems to be coming up the street is really going down to the man. And since science does not contain nonsense like this, it is proof that the Earth is not a globe.
Okay. So I have spent a lot of time in small rooms with people smoking copious amounts of drugs, while I have not been the one doing the same activity, and this just sounds like those people jacking each other off verbally the entire time they're fucking high.
You know that the Twinkie is the perfect food.
And we all know that fucking person, too. That's why I'm immediately, like, just, ugh!
There are two proofs that make absolute sense when using this type of logic. The Twinkie is the perfect food because it perfectly contains the cream filling to stop it from getting on your hands.
Not how I use it.
And this is most important. The way that you just read that beginning proof reminded me of this proof, which a philosopher who I really love and cherish said, "Somebody once told me the world was gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed."
Well, she was looking kind of dumb.
With her finger and her thumb. In the shape of an L.
On her forehead, right?
Well,
So, yeah.
Years
saying
stop coming.
they can't stop going, actually. Can't stop, won't stop.
coming.
It won't stop!
They must have utilized a little screw chew beforehand. And,
Too many.
yeah.
Too many. Yeah, so it's literally actually that is what science does say is that, like, from the man's perspective, the street is coming to them. From the street's perspective, the man is going to. Yeah, so it's literally science does say that. So it's all about the frame of reference.
The
Literally,
dog
that's
is not
what it
peeing on the fire hydrant. The fire hydrant is pulling the urine out of the dog.
Close. The dog is peeing on the fire hydrant. The fire hydrant is getting peed on by the dog. It's the same thing. It's just different perspectives. Exactly. Anyway,
We are so off the rails on this.
there can't be rails. The rails are warped.
The rails
The
don't
rails
exist.
don't. Yeah, they're like they're different gauges. They like kind of do like a sort of wave thing, and the train's just like
It's a Keanu Reeves kind of thing. There is
God.
There's
Yeah.
no rail.
Well, I think this is a wonderful moment for us to take a pause and pause for the cause. And let's talk about this week's marvelous sponsor. Are you ready, friends?
I'm
Please.
ready. Give it to me.
This week, I'm super stoked because this is one of the best gets we have gotten thus far.
Okay.
And this is going to grow our listenership by leaps and bounds. We are sponsored by inaudible.com.
What was that?
Inaudible.com.
Huh?
Ooh.
Inaudible.com?
What?
Exactly. Gentlemen, do you hear things? Is it burdensome? Don't you wish for a reprieve from auditory comprehension? Do you long to flee the world of constant coherent chatter? Well, Inaudible is here to help, and we are ecstatic that they have decided to sponsor this installment of the Disinformed podcast. Inaudible.com is a leading provider of premium, digital, sotto voce audio disinformation and infogagement on the internet. Inaudible content includes more than 250,000 meaningless messages, meandering tales, and spoken word audio drivel that will be whispered into your ear canals in hushed and reverent tones, providing a bed of pink noise to save your brain from the strain of constantly assimilating accurate information against your will. With a fun array of free apps for every type of phone and device, you can access our drones anywhere, anytime, right from the smartphone or elderly relative you've trapped in a convalescent home. So you can get a free 30-day trial of barely audible and incoherent Drek and a free pair of noise-emitting earplugs at inaudible.com/idiot. Just enter the offer code IDIOT at checkout for a free 30-day trial and what roughly amounts to a slug of solidified earwax that you can use to save your brain from the idiocy of American political conversation. Inaudible.com. Huh?
What?
What?
So that's our sponsor for this week, and we are so happy to have Inaudible here. And I have used their service, and I've got to tell you, I have gotten just a string of incoherent nonsense following me at all times, and it's not just because I work at a university that we can't name on this podcast.
You almost said it. It's brilliant.
Well, yes, they're marvelous.
I'm glad.
Yes.
I really should give them a try, because there's plenty of times, especially working at my pizza job, where I just don't want to pay attention to the customer. And I could just put that in, play it, and they're just like, trying to play somewhere. What? Sorry, huh? What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost as good as our podcast.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you can just have some guys like, back when I started to use animal gelatin to make my cookies, it was the greatest year of my life.
If I had something legitimately that could turn off bartender ears, it would be amazing. The amount of times I'd be like, hey guys, I'm not trying to overhear, but you're literally talking so fucking loud about a private topic. Like,
and yes, genital warts need to be treated.
And also, she's your sister. That's gross.
So when did we go to Alabama?
Roll Tide.
Yes.
Roll their time. So thank you, inaudible.com. We appreciate it. And again, that offer code is idiot. Michael?
So, they're actually, I will say that I know they sponsor 100 Proofs that the Earth is not a globe. That's actually a special one. Yes,
Ooh.
I had just remembered that when you had mentioned that you were going to bring that up today, that I had gotten a notification.
That is our recommended reading for them, I recall. Yes.
So you can get all of their original, non-translated to modern English readings. I can't remember the person that does them. It's definitely not Carpenter or Robotham because, they're kind of dead. But
Yes.
I can assure you that it is a deep British accent that you can just, maybe even a Cockney accent, so you can just make sure nothing makes sense. It's perfect.
Well, most British people don't make sense.
And actually, they translated them from the original, Edison scrolls as well that they used to use. So, they're great.
Delicious.
Wonderful audible quality.
I'm so
Inaudible
excited.
quality. Anyway, fuck, I'm so sorry.
This is the joke of the lie of this episode is that you thought it was about the Earth being flat. This is actually the ADD episode.
Huh?
What?
Wait, where did you guys come from?
Hey, that thing's shiny.
Who's that?
Hey, I take offense to it. Wait, what were you talking about again?
Motherfucker.
This was sponsored apparently by some sort of
Speaking of
weed
motherfucker.
strain.
Of skill.
Yes, you called?
Huh?
Dad?
That's right. You can call me daddy.
As long as it isn't dad. Father. Okay, so if the Earth were a globe, it would have similar characteristics as a small globe that stands on a table. Okay?
Because the universe is obviously a flat surface.
Ooh, that's some deep shit that he probably didn't even consider.
We are spinning on the back of a turtle.
Multiple,
Well, the
right?
turtle can't help us now.
No. As a small globe a small globe has a top, bottom, and sides, right?
Mm.
At least that's what
Depending
it
on your
says.
perspective, I'm sure.
Yes. So must all globes, right? But since the Earth doesn't have a bottom or sides, it must be that the Earth is not a globe.
This is fucky, man.
Now you understand why I've spent hours upon hours being like, this makes no fucking sense.
I mean, I don't understand because of how I operate, where I would just rage quit halfway through being like, fuck this.
I'm just going to say right now, I can absolutely contradict that because the Earth does have a bottom. I've put my dick in it.
Australia?
Exactly.
So we have shared the same bottom.
We have.
Oh, wait, no,
we're not
it's
talking about rock bottoms.
Yeah. Asshole Arizona is what I'm referring to.
Got it. Lake Havasu.
Put it where it's smelly.
Oops.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Spring broken.
Okay, I'm going to take a solemn vow now, because this is the 8th time. I'm going to let you finish your fucking topic.
I'm going to let you
Oh,
finish.
no, this is fine. Honestly, I have so many. I'm just going until we're like, nah, we're done.
So you and I are Kanye and he's Taylor Swift.
We just
That's
put out
what
a
you're
really
saying?
shitty Christian gospel album? Is that what you're saying?
So
Oof.
You do know that happened, right? That he's a born-again Christian now?
yes, I have seen some of the scuttlebutt surrounding his releases.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's...
I said gosh because saying God in his context would just be too far.
One of the lines I heard from a song that he released was they thought Jesus was doing the laundry, I believe. So, and he's the greatest artist of all time. So
True. Not one better.
must be true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the Earth is flat.
Yeah.
And on that note,
If the Earth is a plane, you'll fall off, is a very common assertion. Well, you cannot fall off, since the Earth is surrounded by an icy barrier that we cannot cross.
so essentially it's Game of Thrones. There's the wall, and once we approach that, that's the indicator.
It'll throw us back.
So who
And-
built the wall? Trump?
The first man. Ooh, I like your
Actually,
answer better.
Sid Barrett built the
Sid
wall.
Barrett, yeah. He was the original Trump.
And after all, we're just a brick in the wall.
Well, you have to eat your
All in
something,
all.
your stuff and whatever the
is-
quote is.
If
for
you
Wonderwall?
don't take your meat, you can't have any pudding.
How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat?
Exactly.
What was I gonna say?
What were you going to say?
There was there was a YouTube video of Flat Earth that I watched, well, talking about debunking Flat Earth, and he made an excellent point when talking about this icy barrier. If that was the case, global warming is a lot more of a fucking big deal.
because
right?
then the edge of the literal world is slowly melting and you're gonna fall off the face of the fucking not planet, I guess.
What will keep the
Plane.
water on the Earth?
Maybe that's why tsunamis happen, Michael.
Right? So
Much water's melting.
if Flat Earth is, any Flat Earthers that are listening to this, and I
Fuck
doubt that there are any,
yourself if you're listening to
Well-
this and you're a flat earther.
before you do that, you need to start pushing for more climate change, like stuff, activism, because shit, the water's gonna fall off.
Fuck me, you self, you're a coward.
Ooh.
No. So basically what they're saying is the world is just one big wave generator.
Well, the world is
Yeah.
a vampire.
Scent.
Okay, so the last one I'm gonna say, because I feel like we're all dying a little bit faster than usual on the inside.
Yeah, fair.
Hemorrhoids are a bitch. That's just a thing.
Yeah, I need some preparation H.
Does feel good on the whole.
Sadly not sponsored. Hashtag. If the Earth... I wouldn't mind being sponsored by Preparation H if they came out to us. I would chill for them. Shit. I mean...
Or not shit. Preparation H.
Well,
It's a-
with preparation...
I know what you're saying. It's a real wholesome company.
Yes, very true.
Yes.
Very good, cleanly.
Cleanly.
Well, it's a
we
good,
are-
it's a good cleanse.
There hasn't even been a rail to fall off of.
Man, there isn't even a train anymore.
I've
There's
never even
literally-
done drugs and we're this incoherent.
Yeah. So if the Earth were a globe, people that weren't on the top of the Earth would have to be fastened to its surface by some means, whether the attraction mentioned by the astronomers or some other undiscovered process. But since we walk on the surface without any aid, it must be that the Earth is not the globe.
So these are people who don't understand scientific
Not people, one
principles
person.
attempting to employ scientific principles. Because centripetal force does not exist. Centrifugal force does not exist. We haven't ever studied any of these things. So the things the astronomers tell us are there to hold us. Okay.
There's also a lot of proofs that I didn't mention that he pretty much makes a lot of astronomer conspiracy theories, which is funny on its own, because that's like what a lot of other, like NASA, but instead of NASA, it's astronomers.
Yeah.
But my note to this is literally dumb fuck discovered gravity.
Yeah.
Eh.
So it's like we also assume weather is just on a Mobius strip that just wriggles around the flat Earth, so that it's just a constant string of things going around. So the
Oh, there's
clouds must just be on a loop that circle around and drop moisture on
There's
us.
one proof, and I can't remember which one, because I guess I should have been saying the proof numbers, but fuck it, I don't care anymore. There's one that he says that the seasons change because the sun is actually moving slightly slower when it goes into the southern hemisphere because it's got to cover a longer distance in the same amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I got swept up in all of this dumb fuckery. What were the lies?
Oh,
we didn't try to call a single lie this entire time. It wasn't even on the forefront of my mind.
I can't imagine trying to pick out the
And
needle in the fucking haystack.
And I'm
on these.
aware by saying
You
that this is
almost
like
got
reminiscent of the old format where we sum up the episode with the lie, but if anybody listening, you heard this lie, go you, because I was too swept up in being distracted by being an asshole.
So, there aren't any lies in any of the proofs.
Okay.
Because I
Jesus.
figured that would have been a little too...
Your name's not Michael, is it?
Your name is John.
It's actually Mike. I identify as Mike. Anyway. Rude!
It's so not me this time. It makes me so happy.
This is too much. He's broken. Everything's broken.
Broken John.
Also, just a couple other notes to round out everything. He believes in geocentrism. I think I already kind of mentioned that.
We don't kink shame, Michael. It's 2019.
Indeed it is.
Fine. That's fair. Yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Okay.
He also does, I think, like a couple more theological proofs.
I hate this person.
Yeah.
I want to
Anyway,
find him and punch him in the testicles.
So,
Hard.
I'm gonna reread. Actually, I'll just give you the hint. Both of the lies, so there were two, were in the background. Because I didn't want to do any lies in the physics lesson, because I learned my mistake with that refraction from last time. And I didn't do any lies in the proofs because they're already pretty bullshit as it is.
Agreed.
So,
Fair.
I mentioned that William Carpenter was a xenobiologist.
That seemed weird because I just read Orson Scott Card's Xenocide. So when you said that, I almost made a comment. He studies alien biology.
But in that same breath, he's saying, from what the astrologers tell us about these other planets,
Yeah.
No. Astronomers. It's the astronomers with
Oh,
the
I
conspiracy,
forget.
not the astrologers.
Forgive me.
Yes.
I misspoke.
You dumb man.
I figured you guys wouldn't remember because I mentioned this last time.
The water remembers, but we did not.
No. And
I am made of sand.
I mentioned that he was a printer and a stenographer. I don't remember what a stenographer is, but being a printer...
A stenographer is the person who works in shorthand to transcribe things said during a trial. So where you were talking about that is what a court stenographer is. So someone who works in shorthand, essentially.
Cool.
And since he is an expert in shorthand, that stands to reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, this is the best one.
Oh, no.
His pen name is Common Sense. It wasn't the author of the most scientific, incredible sensibility.
Okay. I would
You
say
didn't
technically,
call
I technically called bullshit because I'm like, that's ridiculous, but I didn't really call bullshit. So, okay, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, that was those were my lies.
Okay, well done.
All right.
I was hoping one of you would be
No.
like, the fuck is a xenobiologist? But
I'm kind of desensitized because of the book that I just read.
that's fair. I'll give you that.
That being said, I have 8 tabs open on my phone right now, so I'm kind of blinded by that. Also, I ate a burrito for lunch, and it's not settled
You're
well.
blinded by that.
Yeah. So is there... This is part 2 of your thing. Is there
Yes.
a third part?
Yes, I'm going to cover... So I did mention there was I think her name was Lady Blount, which is going to be fun. Blount.
Is that French for a BLT?
I don't know.
So
But-
we are going to start a brand new podcast called Michael Pronounces Things. And it's just going to be
A
me
YouTube series, actually.
chortling off screen while you're like, sanguish.
That actually would be an interesting podcast.
Yes.
You just give me
I hold up
a
words.
sentence to read, like a short passage or something, and you have to try and. That actually would be.
I lament his unfortunate demise.
I read very descriptive smut.
Don't we all?
That would be funny.
Okay, so we
Anyway.
have keep this in your head, Shane, because we have a good framework for loose episodes, like
Okay.
topicless episodes.
The Fly episode for Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
As of
you know,
us,
like
yeah.
the next time we're just like,
Good
yeah,
idea.
fuck it. The next time I come in, I'm like, hey, I have no topic.
Mm.
That's when it's time just to be like, Michael, let's look up some erotic fan fiction, and you're gonna butcher it. Or you
I
know, we
already
talk
know the
about
first one I
Star
wanna
Wars for
read.
17 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, fuck this flat Earth nonsense.
Yeah, I'm going to go in full agreement there.
It's-
And we have learned, for
Yeah.
all you listeners out there, we are going to stray very far away from anything that needs to be research heavy before we walk in here, if we're going to sit and recant the entire documented run of a subject. So if we're doing something, we are going to synopsize to the best of our ability, and Wikipedia is not helping us anymore. We can use it as a good guideline, but dear God, if we read the whole page, it's going to kill everyone old enough to die. And some that
True.
aren't. Trute?
I'm already dead.
I am Trute.
Trute TV.
Ew. I don't know,
So,
that sounds
what is the third version of this
Oh,
you're going
so the
to...
third version will pretty much cover this Lady Blount and the kind of actual societies that sprung up from Robotham and his successor, that Lady Blount.
Okay.
So probably be covering, I guess, more.
So it'll be Revenge
politics,
of the
maybe.
Shits.
What is the
Now it
title?
is.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't come
three.
up
Revenge
with
of the
one, but
Shits.
it's
Revenge
All
of the
anal
Shits.
final chapter.
Yes.
For any of you Clerks 2 fans.
Well done.
Man.
By the way, I'm taking it back. So,
Okay, so my next topic, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and there's music now. Right? Right?
Okay.
Yeah, you guys hear the music?
I
It's just
hear
me? It's just the tumor?
I can smell really far.
You know, I think I might just not have music this time. No, I'm kidding.
Fuck yourself.
Fuck me yourself, you coward.
Next time we're back, I will have Act 4 and 5 of The Deer Hunter ready to go, and to appease Shane, I'll have production things in there, and we'll do another deep dive on the lakeandtheriver.com where we go through the conclusion of the story. We'll talk about what the Deer Hunter is up to now, and it'll be fun, and you guys won't be able to hear any of their music on here because we can't do that. But that's my intention for the next for the next topic. That'll be my episode. Probably would be 40 minutes to an hour.
Okay. I
Or it's
believe
free.
at the request of one of our dearly devoted listeners, and Michael, feel free to say the name if you want to give a shout out.
I guess I can say Dalton.
Okay, well, we are going to probably get into... Oh. Anyone else just think of Insidious when he said that? Dalton. So we are going to cover behavioral sync, I think, in my next episode.
Behavioral sync, like
the behavioral
SYN?
sync. Yes. No, SINK. So it refers to an experiment that was done where they would take a rat colony and remove any idea of predation. So before we get into the episode, that is essentially the quick synopsis. And then give them a reliable food source, and then basically just watch how the society would proceed when you remove any things that might kill them, and just watch how they deal with one another in an enclosed area where everything is provided for them. They don't have to struggle through life, and see what happens. And some very interesting things happen. There's a lot of very fun things we can get into with the topic.
Absolutely.
I have researched it heavily, and I will not do a 20-minute reading session of... And they changed the name of it to, the Rat Sphinx, and then Ratatouille.
And then he begat John, who begat Stephen.
And then
who
they sang a
begat
song about a
Robotham.
veritable smorgasbord, and how the pig was crunchy.
Michael, you're doing your part 3, Deer Hunter, and then you're doing Rat. You're doing Chuck E. Cheese.
We took a bunch of people that went into Chuck E. Cheese and we just locked the doors.
The episode is
what
going to be
happened.
called "Spatted at Rat Trap."
Michael, do you want to give a synopsis of what we just talked about? Do you have an elevator pitch? Do you have your 30-second about what you just said?
So some printer, some guy that did a lot of writing for a living, thought that he could prove what people spend their lives, doing research on, and he fell flat on his ass.
Did
and
a terrible
face
job, yeah.
Same time.
Cool.
And not even sexually.
Sweet.
Very disappointed.
So it would be like someone who has never heard music before explaining the Deer Hunter saga.
Which is what I will do next episode.
Yeah.
And you've never heard music before, so that fits perfectly.
Revenge.
I'm an avid user of Inaudible, so I have in fact never heard
he's
music.
never heard it. Not once.
Not
never.
Not a single day.
Mm-mm.
Huh?
Well, I think I'm good to go kill myself now. If you guys aren't opposed.
I'm
So,
spent.
if you are inclined, please give us a little message here. If you have some topics you would like to suggest as listeners, we would love to hear them, and we would have a lot of fun researching some things that we are not normally inclined to seek out. So, disinformedpodcast@gmail.com. Send us some ideas, or hit us up on Twitter. You can find us there at disinformedpod, or you can jot us a DM if you're inclined. You can
Slide into
DP
those.
in the DM. You can also find us on Instagram at Disinformed Podcast and Facebook.com/Disinformed Podcast. Please come check us out. If you like what we do, slide into iTunes, rate and review. We would love to have you follow. And your recommendations for this ridiculous claptrap that we throw together occasionally is going to be very helpful for us to continue to grow the audience. So recommend us to a friend if you like what you're hearing. Tell us, tell your mom to listen.
Or force her to.
I'd love to meet her. And meet her.
Are you cheating on me?
No, I can't cheat on them. We have an open relationship.
Oh, that's good.
Yes. Meaning she's so open.
9 kids will do that.
Tends to, yes. Basically, it's just like me slaloming down an ice chute.
Jesus Christ.
That's what she says usually.
Sorry, Mom. Sorry, God.
Also what she says. Well, ladies and germaphobes, thank you so much for enduring this beautiful bunch of bullshit. As per usual, we love and appreciate each and every one of you that has downloaded us from Mexico to Brazil to the UK to
Portland
to the end of the flat Earth. And by the way, you're the best goddamn bartender from Portland, Maine to Portland, Oregon, for that matter. For the Disinformed Podcast, I'm Shane.
I'm John.
And I'm Michael.
Keep coming back. We won't let you